It's vile, and now we know it was even worse than first thought. For 2 years, we've uncovered the failings that allowed this childcare worker to offend in plain sight. Now, a scathing report tells us there were 18 missed opportunities. 18 times he could have been stopped.
A report to make our children safer from a man who spent the past year exploring the depravity of Australia's worst paedophile, Ashley Griffith.
This is a report that should have national significance. We recommend the Prime Minister respond to this report.
Luke Twyford, the boss of Queensland's Family and Child Commission, was tasked with uncovering the shocking failures to catch Griffith earlier, speaking directly to some of the 65 victims himself.
This report clearly shows that children spoke up and parents spoke up, but police were saying that doesn't reach the criminal threshold.
ACurrentAffair has spent the past 2 years exposing failures in the Griffith case, including the 3 times he came to the attention of Queensland Police, only to be cleared and allowed back to the same childcare centres. Brave parents like Kim spoke out.
How somebody can be reported for something similar to what happened to our child 6 months prior, and then he's back in the system.
Today, Queensland Premier David Crisafulli outlining there were even more failures than first thought.
To the victims and their families, I express our complete and utter sympathy and sorrow. From their heartache, change will come.
Premier, we were one of the first to expose some of these missed opportunities you commented on at the time as opposition leader. How have you felt to now see that there were actually 18 missed opportunities in the course of this?
It makes sober reading, Dan. It really does. I think about it through the eyes of the parents who are involved and the fact that their lives will never be the same, and the conversations they have to have with their kids into the future and what that means to them.
The former Labor government slammed for failing to implement findings from the Royal Commission into child sexual abuse that could have prevented the back end of Griffith's horrific offending. Attorney General Deb Frecklington.
In fact, 8 years, the former Labor government sat on their hands and let this monster, this pedophile, run rampant through our childcare centres in Queensland. And they should be held accountable for that.
As Griffith rots in jail for the next 27 years, the focus is now on how to fix this broken system. The report called In Plain Sight because that's exactly where Griffith hid for 2 decades.
They are right in front of us. They're in our neighbourhoods, they're in our organisations. For too many Australians, they are in our families. That's the darkness of what we're confronting here. It's people who are deliberately looking like they're trustworthy so that they can abuse our children. They operate in plain sight and they offend in plain sight.
The numbers of child abuse cases seem to be rising. What have you found?
1 in 4 children under the age of 18 in Australia have experienced child sexual abuse. That's a confronting statistic. This is not a one-off case. This is not a rare event. This is happening in every community in Australia.
The nation has been rocked by a fresh wave of sickening alleged child abuse cases this year, some of them also in childcare settings.
1 every 2.3 days, there was a new offender in our courts for accessing child abuse material or for contact offending against a child. That's a startling figure. We have a significant problem with child sexual abuse in Australia.
Twyford is concerned the emergence of corporations seeking profits in the childcare industry could be coming at the expense of safety. He's calling for much larger penalties when children are harmed.
Right now, as a CEO, if one of my workers trips over and injures themselves in the workplace, I am subject to a $3 million fine. If that worker abuses a child, the only penalty that applies to me is $13,000 for not reporting it. That's not good enough. We need strong laws that force organisations to protect the safety of children.
As those new laws are formulated, Twyford says parents need to have more conversations with the childcare centres they rely on.
My call for all parents is don't be panicked, don't be terrified, but know who you're leaving your children with. Know not only the individual workers, but know the people that run the company.
What would be a red flag that a parent would hear if they're having those conversations with the childcare centre?
So I'd certainly be worried about any organisation that says they never have concerns. I'd be worried about any organisation that says all their workers are safe. We need to have a mature conversation.
No childcare centres where Griffith offended have been named. The Uniting Church was revealed as one of his many employers after it decided to pursue criminal charges against Yolanda Baruki, a former manager of Griffiths who gave an interview to A Current Affair about one of the missed police opportunities.
Many of the childcare centres involved have failed these children. Why haven't they been named?
This is not the story of single systems failing. This is not the story of one organisation or one worker missing something. We actually have inadequate systems to protect our children. It is no one's job to look for threats. It is no one's job to collect the reports that don't reach the criminal threshold.
While Queensland Police were able to obtain a search warrant to raid Yolanda Baruki's house for alleged computer hacking, other officers were unable to get search warrants to seize Griffiths' devices in any of the 3 complaints made about him. It was Australian Federal Police officers who eventually discovered thousands of files he'd recorded of his offending.
Why did none of these complaints result in even a search warrant being obtained for his devices?
Police need evidence of a crime that is able to pass the test in court before they can execute a search warrant. Our current system doesn't place sufficient value on the voice of a child.
How do you think overall Queensland Police have handled this matter?
The system failed these kids right across the board. That's the government, many agencies, people working in the sector. There were huge failures, and there were so many checkpoints where the system could have detected this, and that's the most disappointing thing.
The people it's most disappointing for are the victims and their families, seeing how Ashley Griffith slipped through the cracks so many times, slithering his way through a system that allowed it.
We saw in this case individual organisations see risk, identify risk, and end the employment of this offender. He went and got a job at another organisation where those risks were reborn, where those risks re-happened. We need to make sure that the early childcare sector operates as one sector.
Shouldn't we have known better by now?
Yes. This is a story of where we've let our children down, and by we I mean all of us in Australia.
And the Queensland Government is fast-tracking child protection reforms that are years overdue. Hopefully they implement all 28 recommendations, because this can't happen again.